to Here's What I Stand For, and today is special because it is the first episode of Here Is What I Stand For, and we have a special guest today, Terrell Ray, the founder of Kansas City People's Choice Award and the founder of Our Children, Their Future.
There you go.
Welcome.
Yes.
I did my research.
Homework, yes.
I did my research. Yeah.
Hello, Kansas City. How you doing? I am Terrell Ray, as she stated, the founder of the Kansas City People's Choice Awards and Our Children, Their Future. We're going on 13 years for Our Children, Their Future. 5 years for the Kansas City People's Choice Awards.
Yes. And again, thank you for being here. Thank you for being my first guest here. So, we can just start off by saying, telling us a little bit about yourself, and I really want to talk about the award show. So what inspired you to start the award show?
With the award show, it was a combination of two things. The Hoodie Awards, which I attended with Joseph Thomas. His shop was nominated and won for Best Barbershop. So I went to Las Vegas to the award show with him, but that was way back in 2009-ish, somewhere around there. So at that time, I'm not thinking about an award show. But then later on, watching the BET Awards and also realizing that the metropolitan area of Kansas City, we aren't included. We aren't included in a lot of the recognition of the magazines and the publications that are taking place in Kansas City. So those two things made me want to start the Kansas City People's Choice Awards.
Okay. And then speaking of, thinking about it back then, your vision from back then, has it changed now that, the show has progressed?
I would say the vision has changed because I've always started out with it being a networking event. It's not primarily about the awards. It's more about networking. It's more about recognition. And you don't need an award to be recognized. You don't need an award to network. It's all about what you take. Like, the awards can be the best thing to an individual, whether you win, if you lose, whatever. It's about what you do with it. And that was the main vision when I was sitting in my bed thinking about it. Yes, it's nice to be recognized. Yes, it's nice to win and take home the nice plaques and the trophies that we provide. But you can win financially if you utilize the awards for its purpose.
Yeah. And this was my first year hearing about the awards, and to see all those semifinalists, I was like, oh my goodness, there are so many people out here doing their thing, and that fueled my fire to want to talk to more people about, what they're doing, and, just hearing people's stories.
1,150, somewhere around 1,200 semifinalists.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 375, 380 finalists. So definitely a large number of people. And there's no way that I know 1,100, 1,200 semifinalists.
Right.
As they think I do, but yeah.
Right.
And it gives me the opportunity to meet people, to see what they're doing, such as where we're here now at Books and Bliss, or Books, Bliss and Wine. I've never ever met them before, never even been here before the awards, but it gives me the opportunity to promote and support it at the same time.
Right, exactly. And speaking of just semifinalists and finalists, how do you create categories and nominees? Like, how does that work?
So we started out in 2019 with 50 categories, and what we did, we asked the community, made a Facebook post, which categories make sense to start off the awards. Started with 50, 5 years later we're up to 75. So of course people are going, well, we want this category, we want this category. What happens is the category has to have enough nominees to where we can eliminate based on votes. There are a lot of deserving categories. Unfortunately, we just can't have a category with 5 people in it, because it's not going to be able to go through that entire process. So of course, businesses are going to miss out, entrepreneurs are going to miss out depending on what they do. So we try to definitely stick with some of the popular categories, which is the hair industry, makeup industry, and entertainment, photography, things like that. And then we mix in some of those smaller categories like best author, um, best clinical healthcare provider. That was created because of COVID. You know, I felt like that was a deserving category to where even though we focus on a lot of entrepreneur and business owners, that's one category that we can say let's honor and recognize those 9 to 5, those 7 to 7 or 12-hour shift workers because they took great care of us during the COVID epidemic.
Exactly.
And then every year we start the categories out with a lot. So we start out with probably 90 categories every year. We decide who is going to move forward to that next round based on the participation. So you will see categories in that very first nomination period where the voters can go, they can write the names in of whoever they want that's in those categories. So for best podcast, you write whatever name in, there's no name selected. You write the people's names in based on the participation in that particular category. That's how we advance into the next round. So we'll go from around probably 95 to 75 based on participation. There are some categories that were on last year that may not advance the next year because it's all about participation. And one of the categories was best fashion stylist. That one was on for 4 years. Unfortunately, this year was not because it had received very low votes. Secondly, it was the same people. So I don't want to keep recognizing the same 5 people. I want to be able to switch it up because people are going to get tired of seeing those same names. And then from there, from the open round, which is the nomination round, we take the nominees and then they go into the semifinalists. So the first round is not based off votes.
Right.
You just got to be nominated.
Okay.
You know, because if
you write the name in.
That's it.
Okay.
If every category went off, every round went off votes, we're going to see the same people. Every year it's going to be the same people because of popularity. So we decided after year 2, let's do something different. Let's pick people. They received a nomination, great, they deserve it to move on. From there, that underdog may knock off someone that's popular because we don't know their fan base, we don't know their support system. If we give them that chance, it's shown, yeah, they won. So, and then the final round is based on votes.
Okay.
So, yeah, you get into the finals, it's strictly based on votes. There's no more selecting. We only do that after the nomination period to ensure fairness, to ensure that we get new people in, new faces, not seeing the same people. You know, because that's one thing that will kill an award show, seeing the same people and be like, oh my God, we just seen this person.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair too, and a good technique. I would never have thought of anything like that, but to get other people exposure like that the popular people have already received or are still receiving, I think that's good.
That definitely gives those underdogs that are not so popular an opportunity to gain exposure.
Right.
And that's what it's for. We're in it to just give exposure to the popular people. Well, we doing an injustice.
Right.
You know, we have a whole city out there that people need the awards to get their shine, you know, to get that exposure, to get recognized. And so, yeah, and I feel like it's worked, you know, a great deal.
Yeah. So. Okay. And so I see you already have like your date for next year, July 28th.
July 28th, 2024.
So, are you still as involved with the entire process of the show from start to finish?
Start to finish. So this is about a 10-month process with the award show. After August, we take a break for a couple of months to just relax, replenish, refresh ourselves. But we're back in it because we have to obtain sponsors. Gotcha. A lot of sponsors, they allocate their dollars at the end of the year for what they're going to do for the next year. Some do by quarters, some do by year, some do by half a year. So we want to make sure we're sending it out to people, the businesses, and saying, hey, would you love to be a part of this great event, you know, that's honoring and recognizing Black Kansas City. We get into the thick of things with the actual award show come April.
Okay.
So April is when we start voting. That's when we open up the nomination process, and then from there it's nonstop. So
Okay.
once we start voting, boom, it goes from voting into the award show. So very, very, very busy. I'm more involved with the show.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that you guys see at the award show, the performers, the humanitarian recipients, the lifetime achievement recipients, basically everything that has to do with the award show, that's me. I create that. That's my mind. That's my vision that's coming to life. And then behind the scenes, everything else is my staff. But yeah, what you see that Sunday, all the planning and everything leads up to that one day.
Wow, that's amazing. This year was my first year, and it was pretty dope. It was a good like environment. Like everybody was dressed up.
Yeah.
Everybody was eating. They was in those lines. Those lines were long.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just great. My favorite part was Tech Nine's part.
Yeah.
That was.
We were supposed to honor him before, and I'm glad that I waited because I didn't think about the ideal of how I did it this year. It was just going to be him coming up to receive an award. But he traveled to Germany or somewhere, so we couldn't do it. So I said, you know what, I want him to be present to receive it. We'll put it off. And it gave me the opportunity to think about how I can really honor him and incorporating his label mates, which was Joey Cool. He's a Strange Music. He's on a Strange Music label.
Mm-hmm.
The second performer was his actual son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the third performer was Marley Young, which they've done a lot of music together. So reaching out to all of them to say, hey, can you guys be a part of his tribute? They all agreed, and they rehearsed the Wednesday before the award show. That was their first and only rehearsal.
Wow.
And yeah, and
They
got
killed
up there
it.
and they killed it.
They
Yes.
killed it.
You know, when you incorporate other people, you kind of wonder, are they going to get it done? You know, what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
I trusted in Sean Tyler to make that happen, and all three came together. Tech Nine only knew about his son performing. He didn't know the whole thing was going to take place.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was dope. That was probably one of the best moments of the 5 years that we've been doing it.
That's what's up. So, in a recent post, you said that you never imagined that you would get to 5 years of celebrating. So, what challenges have you had to overcome in order to get here?
The biggest challenge, and this is Kansas City wide, is support. Support is the biggest. We have been blessed, even from year one, to receive such an overwhelming support. The first year, the awards were supposed to be held at the Delta, I don't know the name of the word, Atheum or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small venue, very nice venue, but it's small because we didn't know what the support would be like.
Mm-hmm.
But once we opened up the ticket sales, they start selling. So we was like, oh, we got to get out of here. And we went to Purcell High School, which held a whole lot, more guests.
Mm-hmm.
And they also a theatrical school.
Right.
So it made sense. And we had about 1,200 people the first year come out. To now, we're up to around 1,600 every year. Even through COVID,
That's what's up.
people still came out, which those 2 years in COVID was very, very scary because it's like, we would put all this money in, this time, and they like, some people, you can't do this, you can't do that, but we survived through it, and, that was a blessing, that's support, but the biggest hurdle is the support and the negativity that comes with it.
Can you
Because,
explain that?
so at the beginning, people don't know what the award show was about.
Mm-hmm.
So if they wasn't a part of it, it was bad. How did y'all pick these people? Who are these? These are your friends. Y'all only picking people every negative comment that you can think of, we got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it would come. So the first year, I wasn't worried about it. I took it, I was like, whatever they say, I expected it. Second year, we think, okay, y'all, you should supposed to be paying attention how the voting process works.
Mm-hmm.
No, still negative. And I'm just like, okay.
Everybody was in the house that second year. They had time.
They had time. And that's what we're thinking, like, you should know by now how it works.
They had time to be like,
Yep. Still tore me down. I've lost Facebook friends,
Oh,
people
goodness.
I thought I was cool with. Yeah, no lie. People I thought I was cool with unfriended me, don't like me no more because they have a business and I didn't pick them. And I'm just like, okay.
Like, that's not how this works.
Yeah. But I'm glad that they showed themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to year 4, that's when I saw the turnaround. The negative went to more positive. And I welcome negativity because someone told me past Sunday, whenever it was at the 5th annual, they are here because they saw a post where somebody bashed it. So they wanted to see what it was about. And they told me, they said they enjoyed themselves. They said they are glad they saw that post. They don't know what that person, experience was, but they had the time of their life. And I said that's exactly why I don't shy away from negative criticism. Because if you're talking about it on Facebook or social media, wherever, however you talk about, it's going to make people intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some may say, I don't want to fool with it. Those are followers. Others are going to say, let me find out on my own. You're welcome, man.
Yeah.
So now year 5, definitely a lot more support. Even the negative feedback after the awards was very, 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 very small. Granted, I don't see everything,
Mm-hmm.
but we have a team that that can see posts and will report back things they saw, and it was a lot smaller.
That's good.
Yeah. Even when I thought it was going to be worse because there was some hiccups, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, great positive feedback. Like people, enjoyed it.
That's good. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. And be able to experience that because this is history in the making.
It is
So,
every year.
yeah, that's what's up. So, how do you measure the success of an award show? Now that it's year 5, you got your whole process. You work 10 months year round, or like how do you measure?
One of the measures that I go off of is our sponsorships.
Okay.
Because if you are receiving sponsors, that means they believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not receiving them, that means something is wrong. Maybe they heard some negative feedback. Maybe the sponsors from previous years, they didn't like something. So it's very important that we reach back out to the sponsors. Even if they took a year off, we reach back out to you, a year after that, say, hey, we're still going. We still want you to come out and support us if you can.
Mm-hmm.
But sponsorship is definitely one of the key factors because if people believe in your dream, um, they reach out to me all the time and they ask, how do you obtain all these sponsors? And I tell them it's literally they have to believe in your work. Nobody is going to invest money into an event just to party. No, they want to see what my money is going to,
Mm-hmm.
how can it be beneficial to the community, and that's what they see in our award show.
Mm-hmm.
We have KC Gift, who that organization gives out thousands, millions of dollars every year to Black-owned businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and they have been a sponsor for 2 years. They're one of our top sponsors, and us two working together is kind of like the same goal,
Mm-hmm.
trying to bring recognition, help Black-owned businesses. So I definitely appreciate them every year as well as my other sponsors. The second, it is the guests. It's the support from Kansas City. Are we still be able to sell out? Because I don't want people to come to an empty house.
Right.
The Midland is a very beautiful place, but it holds a lot of people. So if I only have 500 people in a 2,200 seat arena, it's going to look like, whoa, what's going on? So this year, even though because of the date changed, ticket sales were lower, but I don't think it was because of lack of support because we still packed out the downstairs. We had 1,000 people downstairs, and that's literally the biggest focus is can we make that downstairs fill up? The next level is our sponsor level and suite level, and then on top of general admission, we do care about general admission, but all the cameras, everything is right there on that main floor. So that's what really matters a lot is can we fill up that main floor because even if we don't, we can bring general admission down. They'll get a free VIP experience. Right. So yeah, the support of Kansas City and sponsors are definitely the 2 biggest things that I weigh as far as with support and keeping it going.
Okay. And is it safe to say that you were pretty satisfied with how this year's award show turned out?
I am not actually.
You're not?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, 2,200, we only getting 15, 1,600.
Yeah.
You know, we gotta find some type of way to get more people in these seats. And unfortunately, once VIP sells, it's like they don't want to come. You know, it's like I'm too good for general admission, but you're not too good for general admission for Beyonce ticket.
I need to go see Beyonce.
You know, y'all can sit up in those nosebleeds for Beyonce, but you don't want to come here and do it because I don't feel like the ticket prices are unreasonable. I think they are pretty decent because if this same award show went to Atlanta, VIP would probably be around $1,000 to sit on the floor. You know, ours is 100. And, you know, you do get a great experience, but yeah, we're on the radio, we're on the news, we do podcast interviews. We're basically doing everything to try to get the word out because there are people who, like you said, never heard of it. So it's like, what can we do? What are we missing to get the entire Kansas City involved and for them to want to come? Not even just because their family is a finalist, but because they love what we're doing.
Right.
That's what I want. Those returning customers that say, every year I want to get dressed up to come to the award show.
Yeah. Everybody was looking amazing. They were not. It was not a game.
Yeah, we played dress code. First year we didn't have no dress code, and some came in gym shorts and t-shirt. I said, yeah, it just doesn't look right.
Not for an award show.
Yeah, not for the award show. So we made sure we changed that dress code and we stick to it.
So how do you see the award show evolving for next year or the future years to come?
The biggest part would be going to the T-Mobile Center. You know, if we ever can make it there, which I know is probably going to take a sponsorship by them in order to make it happen. But that would definitely be the highlight of the Kansas City People's Choice Awards, going to the biggest venue that we have here. Secondly, we always think of ways to where we can further expose our businesses. What can we do outside of the award show to get them recognized? We now have a website. That was something that we implemented last year, which every winner, every semifinalist is on the website now. And the winners' pages are tagged on there, but the semifinalists are not. But it still gives people the opportunity. You can go to Facebook, Instagram, whatever, put in these people's names, you can find them. So we're always wanting to grow our businesses and not focus just on that weekend. What can we do outside the rest of the year when we're not doing the awards? So those are two things that I would love to see potential and growth from. The T-Mobile Center, and then growing our businesses through us. I know for a fact people are making money off the awards. A lot of money. But I don't care. I'll never go to no business and say, hey, how much did you make? We deserve 20%. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
That's what it's here for. But
exactly.
We can help grow their business from the little bitty unknown to the popular. That's what I want to focus on.
Yeah. And are you proud to be able to bridge that gap between Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas?
Definitely.
And those winners?
Yeah, because we're all one. It's really, we can joke and talk about each other, but at the end of the day, we are all Kansas City. That's why we have the two different categories, because there are people on both sides that are doing amazing things to where certain categories, one winner would just do it injustice. Because you got to think about it, Kansas City is so big, more than likely, Kansas City, Kansas won't win.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Kansas can win because they can do it like, well, we're going to get behind this one person.
Yeah.
So if they all went behind, say for instance, there's 5 finalists, 4 from Kansas City, Missouri, 1 from KCK. If all of KCK were behind that one person, they might win.
Right.
And I think last year, actually, they did that. Tez Carter, who was 913 Promotions, he actually led a campaign to say, hey, let's support Wyandotte County. Everybody on this ballot, he put their names down, Wyandotte, go vote for them. They took home a lot of awards last year. And I like that though.
Yeah.
You know, I like that because that's what you have to do. It creates unity.
Mm-hmm.
Even just for that weekend, if they come together to vote their winners or to vote people to win, they're doing our job.
Right.
We're creating that unity, which I have spoken of.
Right. And so, are there any questions that people ask you that you can answer right now? Like any that you get all the time that you can think of?
I mean, the biggest question, comment, statement that we get is that it's about popularity. That's the biggest part. You know, there in my 5 years of doing this, haven't had a lot of people say that it's rigged or it's unfair. People have said it, but when I look at who says it, it's either someone who didn't win or a friend of someone who didn't win. So yeah, but the biggest part is about popularity, and I agree with them. It is about popularity to a certain extent. Yes, it's no different than than the BET Awards. You're gonna have people who win in awards, any award show where you have, people voting, whether if it's from a panel or if it's from the people. A lot of times it's about popularity. Who you are, who you've become, is a testament to the work that you've done. If we can go back to high school days, nobody goes into high school for the most part being popular. That's earned come sophomore, junior year because of you can dress, your sports, you look good. You don't go in freshman as no popular kid. That stuff is earned. Same thing with the Kansas City People's Choice Awards and their businesses. When you first start out, I don't know any business that just is successful.
Right.
Just because of someone's name. You have to put that work in. People fail to realize that work that they have put in is what made them popular. It's not saying that they're the best. It's not saying customer service wise they're the best. No, it's saying that they have grinded for however long, probably took a lot of losses, probably went days, months without knowing that they were going to eat, pay their bills, all of that. But they still grinded and went through that storm to get their business to where it is right now. And I think a lot of time in today's world, people expect that sudden success. They don't want to do the blood, sweat, and tears anymore. Nope, they want to win right now. And if it's not happening right now, that's when it's an issue. So when they talk about popularity with the Kansas People's Choice Awards, yes, I always agree and say, yes, I do feel like it is a part of the winners. It's a part of the process with the becoming a semifinalist. But the underdog has an equal opportunity of winning just like a popular person. And we're showing that every single year. And then the second part of the awards that we get asked about, or excuse me, that I've heard about is, as I mentioned, rigged or being unfair. I'm the only person that knows about the winners. Nobody on my team. And it's not to say I don't trust my team, but that's very, very, very confidential information. Who knows what could happen before that award show? Somebody could get mad and want to tell who the winners was.
Right.
So I keep that confidential to protect the integrity of the award show. And then we don't tell anybody at all. My best friend, she's been a finalist for 3 years. And of course, it's kind of hard for them to hold it in and want to wait till that Sunday. And yeah, she's asked, tell me, come on, tell me, I don't want to go out there and I don't win. Like, look, you got to wait. And she will tell you, every single person that has asked me, have they won or if they won, you got to wait till Sunday. I don't care. You can give me $250, $500, you got to wait. Because that thrill, that anticipation, that anxiety is what makes it such an amazing event. You sitting there in your seat, just like everybody else at award shows, wondering, my category's about to come up.
Right.
Did I win? Yes, that's what we want. And if you know in advance you won, are you going to come to the award show? Probably not. If you know that you lost, are you going to come? Probably not. So, in a sense, yeah, we want you to come and enjoy it because regardless if you win or you lose, if you can walk away with a great experience and say, this is something that I will come back to, that's what we want. You know, we don't want you to, oh, I didn't win, so I'm not going to go. And there's people that do that. And they win. You know, I had one, J.R. Hoodstar. He'd been before in the past. This year he decided not to attend and he won.
Wow.
So you missed that opportunity.
Right. So do you put the slideshow together too?
So the graphics part is done by MDG Graphics, Marcus Gladys. All I do is send him my vision, he brings it to life.
Okay.
Yeah. Every year, this is, hey, I need this. I don't really see it until the week of when he puts it all together. Our memorial video, the slideshows, all of that, the commercials, everything that you saw on that screen, that's Marcus Gladys.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been doing it ever since year one.
That's what's up. Well, I mean, after talking to you today, it definitely makes me want to come back next year to show my support, no matter who is the finalist, even if I don't know anybody. I knew a few people this year, but just to know that coming is support for Kansas City and what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty dope.
Yeah. They come and get their awards.
Right, right. So just one last question, since everybody's coming to get their awards now. What does Mr. Terrell Ray stand for?
I am a man of my city, you know. For a long time before I started getting back in church, I was a servant for Kansas City, my community. Now that I'm getting back into the church, I'm starting to realize more that I'm a servant of God. And through him, I would change a lot of lives. You know, or through me, I'm sorry, he's using me to change a lot of lives. Continue to serve. We've done a great deal, as I mentioned, with our children, their future workshop. That I get a group of boys, 50 every year, around 50, 60 boys every year, to come out. We teach them how to tie ties, how to write a resume, the importance of credit, teach them how to cut grass. We have conversations about bullying, peer pressure. We're basically trying our best to prepare these young men for life once they, you know, reach that adulthood. So
No, that's good.
they're picking up their awards. But yeah, I've been serving Kansas City for a long time, and like I said, we started in 2012 with Our Children, Our Future. It was actually started out as Stop the Violence KC, and I shifted it over about 7, 8 years ago because the focus, I wanted to focus more on children, young boys, because they're still impressionable. They can still learn from us versus the older generation. They're kind of more set in their ways. I felt like I was wasting my time. But with these young boys, we are making a difference, you know, and from even sometimes they get locked up, you know, even after attending our program, they get locked up, but we can still, they write me and they say, Mr. Ray, I should have listened. Mr. Ray, when I get out, will you do this? They, you know, so yeah, sometimes they're going to go down that wrong path, but that doesn't mean that's going to be their life, you know. And we are going on, this will be our 8th year doing it, I believe. So I'll continue doing that. I do chef's kitchen or chef's table, which we get a group of boys together, and the chef comes in and teaches them how to cook a meal. Yeah, Terrell Ray is definitely about serving. You know, I love giving back to my city. You know, I ain't gonna go about everything I've done because you know that's neither here or there. But I just love giving back. I love being influenced to give back. You know, so that's what I'm all about, man. Support and giving back to Kansas City, even if you know sometimes they be negative about me. I deal with it, you know. So, yeah, look, I got a name of being a jerk, and I had to take what comes with it, but they can never take away my heart and what I've done for Kansas City. So I know one day when I decide to hang it all up, that I'm going to be remembered.
Definitely. Yeah. And I actually have a children's book called Little Affirmation Book. I'll probably cut this part out, but it's called Little Affirmation Book. This is about you, not me.
Gotta plug that book.
But so I wrote it for my daughter because I want her to have more confidence than what I did growing up. Like, I don't know where my confidence got lost, but I don't know. I felt like I turned into a people pleaser, and
we do.
I don't know. My confidence got lost, and I feel like I've been working on it, for these past few years, confidence. But I wrote a little affirmation book for kids, so it's a children's affirmation book, and it's just to start when they're young. Start building that foundation for confidence and self-esteem and stuff. So I get where you're coming from with the, starting with it when they're young.
Yeah, and like you said, sometimes we give so much, that we forget about ourselves. We pour in to everybody else, that we forget about ourselves. We even forget about our kids sometimes. I can attest that there were days where I was working so hard to deliver for the city that I forgot about my own kids. So books like that is definitely helpful because it helps our children understand, yes, you are important. Yes, you can be whoever you want to be. I know that you see daddy, you see mama out here working, trying to give you the best life that we probably didn't have. And then we lose, but somewhere in that mix, we lose our own focus. So that's great. Definitely, I like that. So when that book gonna be available?
It's on Amazon right now.
Oh, okay, look at you on Amazon. I'm about to go buy it for my daughter.
Yes.
I like that.
There's a little affirmation book and a little affirmation activity book where they can actually journal, and then there's a word search and stuff like that too. I know I was gonna ask her about it. I didn't know I'm like, it's called Bliss Books and Wine. They probably don't have children's books. But then you told me, and I was like, oh, okay, look at that. So
that would be dope.
Yeah, I'll probably bring some up here.
That's amazing. So you gotta keep that up because you be in that best author category. So keep writing books.
Right.
Inspiring you. How is your daughter?
2. She'll be 3 in November.
Yeah, keep inspiring you.
She's little baby. But I do want to ask you one more question.
Yes, it is.
I did this one at the end because because I've been thinking like how to ask this, but do you have any plans to break into business owners who are white?
That's a great question. So the Kansas City People Choice Awards, we don't discriminate. There have been white winners. It's actually a white best male videographer that won this year. If they're on that ballot, they're more than welcome because I'll say this, there are white businesses that are for us. They're not going to get the recognition either from Pitch Magazine or Kansas City Magazine because they're in the city. They're not out there in Merriam, Shawnee Mission, Overland Park. So they are equally invested, or we're equally invested in their business as well because we utilize them. And if they stand for us, they stand behind us, they stand with us, definitely, you are with us. That's why there is, the first year we had best black-owned business, best black restaurant. We removed the word black. And we just titled it the best because I don't want people to see black and they say, oh, I'm not going to go there because they're only highlighting black. Yeah. No, we're the best. Yeah. That's literally the way that I position the awards now to say we are the best no matter where you put us, whether if it's 63rd Street, whether you out there in Lee Summit, Overland Park. If you are part of this Kansas City People Choice Awards, you are the best. And that goes for white-owned businesses. Okay. So yeah, if they are definitely included. They are represented through us as well, and they have a place with us. Okay. I don't want them to feel like, oh, it's just about black awards. No. When I first started, I said the metropolitan area of Kansas City. I didn't say the black area of Kansas City because this isn't the black awards. Now I don't want people to ever feel like this is just the black awards. We're bigger than that. Right. And that's a way to expand as well. Exactly. So, I guess I'll add that question in. Yeah.
Seems like that's a good question.
Definitely a good question. So you better have some good editing skills.
Right. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, that was it.
Okay.
You did a good job.
Got my chalk on the
Yeah,
table.
thank you.
Thank you for, the outro. Well, you have heard it here on Here Is What I Stand For with Terrell Ray and yours truly, Tanisha. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Here's what we stand for.
Here is what we stand for.
Cut. There you go. Episode 1 in the books.
Cool. Okay.